Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another Wednesday Westside Wellbeing with myself, Jamie, from Coaches for Change. Today, we are going to be doing some classic Pilates movement. So we're going to work primarily through the legs and into the core, get a little bit of upper body activation in there as well. But before we start, we're going to start to wake up that nervous system, get the ligaments and tendons firing, start to put a little bit of blood flow into the muscle groups as well. So we're just going to set our stance about hip width apart, nice neutral stance. I want you to take a nice big inhale, and as you take an inhale, bring one arm all the way across the body. And as you exhale, bring that arm up and overhead and lean to the other side. Nice big inhale as you come up, bring the arm across, exhale and lean over to the other side. Good. Inhale as you come back over, working through that other arm to exhale and lift and lean up and overhead. Just allowing that spare hand to slide down the outside of the leg. Good. Utilising and finding your breath to find that rhythm. Really lengthening through the rib cage and the obliques on the one side. Squeezing and contracting into the obliques on the other side that we're leaning into. Get a little bit of mobilization through the shoulders and the top of the hips here. And we're just going to go for one more on each side. Nice big inhale, up and over and lean as you exhale and bring it back to center. Lovely stuff. So now we're going to start to activate and mobilize the hips and the legs a little bit more. So we're going to take that stance nice and wide, just outside, or a good way outside, shoulder width apart. And from here, all we're going to do is we're going to lengthen the spine. So we're going to take a nice big inhale, lift the arms up above the head, allow your gaze to come up and overhead. Exhale and come down. But as you come down, just start to roll the spine down. Give the arms a little bit of a squeeze. Inhale and lift. Exhale and slowly start to roll down vertebrae by vertebrae. Wrapping the arms around the torso to give yourself a squeeze. Inhale and lift one more time. Exhale, roll down the spine, arms become heavy. Once you reach that range, wrap the arms around you, give yourself a little bit of a squeeze. And now we're just going to stay here. I want you to soften into the knees a little bit. And we're just gently going to rock the hips from side to side as we bend gently into the knees. Squeeze the torso a little bit more if you can. Lovely stuff. And from here, allow the hands to become loose. Bring the hands onto the floor. Sink the hips a little bit deeper into that floor. And again, we're just going to gently continue that rock from side to side. This is going to give us a little bit more range of movement here because we've got that nice solid base through the feet and the hands. Just working through the adductors, a little bit of the hamstrings, through the hip flexors, through the hip and the knee joint. Can feel quite satisfying as well, to be honest. Nice, and we're just going to go a few more rocks from one side to the other. And we'll go for 3, for 2, and for 1. Bring everything nice and central to the hips. Come onto the fingertips and then lengthen the legs. So we're stretching the hamstrings now. If you can relax the hands onto the floor a little bit. Nice round through the back. Take a nice big inhale. And as you start to exhale, gently lift the hands. Start to stack and roll the vertebrae up one by one. Nice and steady, head and shoulders and arms still heavy until you elevate up beyond the rib cage and roll those shoulders back. Lovely stuff. Nice. So from here, hands are going to come on the hips, stance is staying where it is, and now we're going to rock from side to side again, but this is going to allow us to take it that little bit deeper. So allow the feet to be turned out at 45-degree angles. So you can really bend that knee over that foot as you straighten out through the opposite leg. Now again, just mobilizing, stretching a little bit deeper through the adductors, the hamstrings, get a little bit more activation into the quads and the calf on that side. We're leaning into, and we're gonna go for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lovely stuff. Recenter. Take a little moment. I want you to pull your belly button back towards your spine. Imagine like you're lifting and zipping up towards your diaphragm. Take a nice big inhale and then exhale and relax the belly out. Nice, good. So from here, we're going to turn the toes in, turn the heels in. Give your legs a little bit of a shake, because from here, we're going to go back into that stance once more. And we're going to take it into a nice deep sumo stretch, squat stretch, sorry. So stance is set just outside shoulder width apart. And from here, hands can come into the center. You can clench the arms, you can take them out in front of you, wherever you get that balance. But all I want you to do is gently start to sink the hips down. See if you can bring the hips level with the knees. If you can take it that little bit deeper, feel free to do so. Hands can come on the inside of the knees. And we're just going to start to elevate back up again. Nice. We're going to work our way into the depth of that stretch. If you need to close that stance that little bit narrower, no problem at all. And so again, I could turn my stance in a little bit more. And that's still going to allow me to flare the knees out nice and wide, sink the hips down into the base of that stretch. Pull the belly button back towards the spine as you elevate back up. And this time we're going to go down and we're going to stay down there for a count of 6. Nice, so carefully lower yourself down, find that range, hold for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Pull the belly button back towards the spine as you lift the hips up. We're going to do 2 more rounds of that. So we sink the hips down into that deep sumo squat position. Squeeze the elbows into the inside the thighs if you wish to, and we hold for 5, 4, 3, 2. Pull the belly button back towards the spine and elevate up. Lovely stuff. We're going to go down one more time. So we lower all the way down, find that range, and we hold for 5, 4, 3, 2. Pull the belly button back towards the spine and elevate up. Yeah, give those quads a little bit of a shake. Yeah, and those knee joints are going to feel nice and warm now. We can do a little bend through the knees if you wish to. Take a little bit of water on board as well, because it's quite humid at the minute. Lovely. So from here, we're going to add a little bit more movement. So we're going to go into a curtsy lunge from here, or a Russian lunge, depending on who you ask. So we're going to set the feet hip width apart. What you do is bring your left foot right into the center of your hip line. And then you're going to slide your right foot back and take it off on the diagonal. So we're working through that diagonal stance here. And from there, we're just going to start to sink the hips down, lift the hips up. Yeah, so we're working on the diagonal. So this is going to bring that balance and stability into play. Yeah, bending into that lead knee, sinking that back knee down, working through the toes on that back foot. So we can work right into that glute off center, into the opposite glute, coming across the body. So working those 2 glute contractions. Nice, working that quad on that lead leg, glute, hamstring, quad on calf on that back leg. And we're just going to go 4, 5, 4, 4, 4, 3, 4, 2, and 4, 1. And elevate up. Oh, I can feel the burn in the legs. Woo! So now we're going to switch it into the other side. So again, find that range on that mat. It gives you that range to work within that comfortable zone. Right foot comes into the center of that hip line. Slide the left foot back and take it off and round the corner. So we're working on that diagonal. Find that balance on those toes on that back foot. From here we sink the hips down, lift the hips up. Sink the hips down, lift the hips up. Nice. And you might find that one side feels a little bit easier than the other. So this is my setup that definitely doesn't burn quite as much as the other side, although it's starting to burn now. Yeah, lovely. So we're going to go 5 more repetitions. We go for 5, 4, 4, 4, 3, 4, 2, and 4, 1. Lovely stuff, very nice. Those hips and glutes, quads, hamstrings, calves, all nice and mobilized and working. So from here, we're going to take it down towards the mat for this next sequence. So from here, we're going to go into something called shuffle burpees. We're really going to stay on the ground and we're just going to walk backwards and forwards. We're not going to be elevating up today. This does mean starting in a plank position. So set the hands shoulder width apart, step the toes back, legs are nice and straight, and you're just going to start to walk the legs in towards the arms and then walk them back out again. Nice and steady, nice and controlled. Try and keep the hips nice and low. So as you walk in, try not to lift those hips up. Try and keep them nice and low. Nice tabletop through that spine. And we just walk the legs in and back out. And obviously really mobilizing the knees and the ankles, arms, shoulders. Yeah, walk it in, walk it back out. Lovely stuff. Stick with me, everyone. We're going to keep this one going for about another 10 seconds. So maybe 2 more rounds. Walk it all the way in, nice small steps. Walk it all the way back out. Yeah, 1 more repetition. Walk it all the way in. Walk it all the way back out. Nice, bring the knees onto the floor. Push the hips back into somewhat of a child's pose, but the toes are still tucked under. Just so we can release the lower back slightly. Because from here, we're going to work our way up into a pyramid. So we're going to slide the torso forward so the shoulders are over the wrists. Really tuck those toes underneath for me. And then you're going to lift the knees. As you lift the knees, straighten the legs out and bring yourself up into that pyramid shape. It doesn't matter with this one if your heels are elevated off the ground. This is all about just connecting through that central nervous system in the hips, with both the torso and the legs pointing down towards the floor. See if you can squeeze the shoulder blades together a little bit. Pull the belly button back towards your spine to engage those transverse abdominals. Focus in on your breathing. Hopefully your feet aren't slowly sliding backwards like mine are on the mat. And if they are, feel free to just readjust a little bit. Really push and sink the heels down towards the floor. They don't need to touch the floor. I really want to stretch the calves and the Achilles. Good, and we're just going to hold here. Nice big inhale. Nice big exhale. And we're just going to stay here for 3, 2. Good, and from here we're going to take it straight out into the planks. Start to rock the torso forward, allow the hips to come down towards the floor, squeeze the glutes so we keep that nice neutral position. Arms and shoulders still firing, calves and Achilles still extended. Squeeze those glutes, pull the belly button back towards the spine a little bit as well if you can. You might start to shake. Yeah, we're getting into the Pilates shake zone right now. If this feels a little bit too much, you can bring it down onto the knees, no problem at all. We're going to hold here for 5, 4, 3, 2. Push the hips back up into that pyramid. Lovely, so nice, strong work. Stick with me. Find that breath again. Nice big inhales, nice big exhales, and we're just going to hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Allow the hips and the knees to come down onto the ground. A little push back into the heels. Keep the toes tucked under so we can stretch the base of the feet here. Lovely stuff, and from here we're just going to rock the torso forward, allow the hips to come level with the body, but don't allow them to sink through. We don't want to put any pressure into that lower back here. So we can just engage that central nervous system again, all the way through the hips, through the shoulders, the arms, a little bit down into the top of the legs. And we're just going to go, I've got a little bit of a sweat on now. Good work, everyone. We're going to go for 5, 4, 4, 3, 4, 2, and 4, 1. Nice, push the hips back. Allow the body to come nice and soft. Whew, that increased the heart rate. Take a little bit of water on board as well if you wish to. So from here, we're gonna lie down onto the mat on our backs. And we're just gonna go into, again, a little bit of mobility, start bringing the core and the hips into play. Oh, I just lay down, I got a pop out of the spine. Working, that's what we like. So from here, arms are just gonna come straight up to 90. Pull that right knee in towards your torso. Take a nice big inhale. And as you exhale, squeeze that knee in towards your torso. Take a few nice inhales and exhales. And when it feels natural, when you exhale, release that contraction a little bit. And then when you inhale, squeeze it back in that little bit deeper. Yeah, from here, what we're going to do is we're going to transition the hands onto the back of the thighs. Squeeze that knee in, try and hold that thigh nice and close to the body, and then start to extend up through the bottom part of the leg. You might want to slide your hands to the top of the calf here and squeeze deeper into that stretch. If that does feel a little bit too much, you could bend that left leg, no problem at all, and that's just going to free the hips up a little bit more. Point those toes up towards the ceiling if you can, and we're just going to hold here for a nice big inhale, nice big exhale, and release. Lovely stuff. So now we're going to switch it to the side. So again, arms come up to 90, bend that left knee in towards your torso, wrap and interlace the fingers around the top of the shin below the knee. Nice big inhale, and as you exhale, squeeze that knee in towards that torso. And again, nice big inhales, nice big exhales. When you feel most natural to, and you exhale, release that squeeze, and then inhale, exhale, and squeeze it back in. Carefully move the hands to the back of the legs, hold that contraction, start to extend that left leg up towards the ceiling. You could slide the hands to the top of the calf, squeeze that leg into that hamstring stretch. Again, you could bend that left knee up, that's going to free the hips up a little bit more. Try and point those toes towards that floor. Yeah, this is really going to start that body to rattle and shake a little bit, really connecting those ligaments and tendons to the muscle groups, into that nervous system. Nice big inhale, and as you exhale, release. Lovely, so nice. So we're going to stay lying down on the floor from here. And from here, we're going to go into a little bit of leg work to activate the core. So hands are going to come straight down by the side. Point those toes towards the wall. Lift the legs straight up through 90. Lower them back down. Yeah, lift the legs straight up through 90. Lower them back down. And again, you can rest the heels on the floor in between each repetition if you wish to. If you want to keep that intensity, keep the heels hovering just above the ground. Yeah, we're just going to go for 3 more of these. You could lift the chin into the chest as well to activate those upper abdominal muscles. 2 more repetitions. 4, 2, and 4, 1. And rest the legs back down. Lovely, so nice. So we're going to work that hip mobility and into the base of the core here. So we're going to extend both legs straight out in front of us. So we're just going to work through one leg here. I need to slide myself down the mat so I don't kick that water bottle over. And we're going to go into single leg circles from here. So we're going to lift the right leg straight up through 90, allow it to roll out to the side and rotate it through. Inhale as you come up, and then exhale as you open out through the top of that hip rotation. Yeah, those legs might be shaking a little bit now. You're really going to feel this into your hip flexor. They tend to sit quite tight in a lot of people because we tend to spend a lot of time sitting down. This is really going to work that muscle group. Yeah, we're going to go 1 more rotation. We lift up, out, and round, and rest. We're going to work our next one. So we switch that left leg. We bring it all the way up through 90, open it out to the side and rotate it round. Lift it up through 90, rotate it out and round. Yeah, if you're anything like me on this side or maybe the other side, you might get a few pops and clicks showing that those ligaments and tendons are quite tight in those hips. Yeah, legs shaking. We're going to go one more rotation. We rotate all the way around, down and rest. Lovely, so nice. So from here, we're going to go for one more movement. We're going to go into what we call a hollow rock. So make sure you're lay down, arms are going to come straight back behind you, legs straight out in front of you. You're going to lift the arms up at a diagonal so you can just see the hands through the top of the eyes. Lift the legs up at a diagonal, and all I want you to do from there is lift the torso and then start to roll back. Try and keep that torso nice and rigid so those abdominals are nice and squeeze. You might come up to that seated position. I've got no problem with that. You might rock and roll all the way back through. But again, just find that range, even if it's just a small movement in here, and those legs stay elevated. Massaging the spine, squeezing into the abdominals. We're just gonna rock and roll for 3, 4, 2. And on that final repetition, as you go back, can you find that diagonal and just hold that position for 5? Can you carefully lift up all the way into that teaser for 4, 3, 2, and 1, and rest. Woo! Got the Pilates shakes there. Good work, everyone. Oh, stand yourself up. Feel free to take a little bit of water on board. Will that increase the heart rate? Yeah, everything feels a little bit looser now, a little bit more mobile. Really strong work, everyone. We'll be back again next week for some yoga. My name's Jamie from Coaches for Change, here for Westside Wellbeing. Feel free to like, subscribe, leave us a comment, and we'll get back to you. Have a lovely day, everyone. See you soon.